Have you heard about this personal and professional podcast?
Coaching in Session
with your host, Michael Rearden.
I do want to get straight into this. So we're going to be having you on just talking about high performance coaching. And I always let the guest kind of do their own bio and intro. I don't like doing it. I don't know why. It's like a pet peeve of mine. It's like I can only say what I read, but I think when you really want something from someone, you ask them, hey, like, tell me about yourself, because you can really get the emotion, the meaning, the whole story behind the person. And if I just kind of give a blanket, a bit of words, I'm just kind of reading something, but I love meaning. So can you tell the world who you are, what you do, how you help, and how you help them create impact?
Thank you, Michael, for having me on your show. My name is Shridhevi. I'm a high-performance fitness coach. So in a nutshell is I help high-achieving women, 40 and above, to get to their dream weight without, crazy diets, workouts, and swallowing pills that makes them feel miserable. I do this by changing the relationship with food, shifting their mindset, and moving them towards what's meaningful or value to them. So for me, it's a mental, like a health body, it's a mind-body connection that I work on. And that's why I call myself a high-performance coach, because it's a holistic approach to
Mm-hmm. And why are women over 40 overweight?
not necessarily overweight. I feel like it's more of a lot of responsibilities, right? They're trying to work, balance family. I'm 40, so I kind of resonate with that age group. I'm a mom. Women over 40, they have a family, they're working, they're in a higher end, they're at a point in career where they're, busy, they found their footing, don't seem to have time. There's more stress. So that's kind of what I've seen as a pattern. They're more giving than taking care of themselves, which takes a back seat. Which causes a lot of stress on their body and their mind, which in turn leads as a byproduct, leads to unhealthy eating habits and putting on weight and things like that.
Yeah, very true. I know it could be a huge task, especially like when you have to work and you are trying to, be that family person. There's just so much, and it's like everyone wants a piece of you, and it's like, okay, like, where do I sacrifice? And oftentimes it is health. And that is not women in general. It's like everyone. It's just like one of the things people typically do is like, all right, I don't have the time. I don't have the money or whatever it be, right? So like we just say, I'm going to sacrifice something. And typically it's health. And then eventually at some point the wheels start falling off and then you start to have all of these ailments and then we start to pay attention again. And I just love speaking with coaches that are helping people understand and get back to better health, because when you are in better health, you can do so much more. Think of it as like an energy for a battery. So like if you have like a battery at 50%, you can only go 50% of the, length of what the battery is going to take you. Think of a Tesla. If you have a range, right, you can go 279 miles or something, but half of that is not going to be 279, of course. So you just have to say, do you want to go the full length or do you just always want to go halfway? And many people, they will love to go the full range, especially later in life when we have this envision of, well, I would like to be financially free. I would like to be able to retire and travel and to do all these things that we aspire to, but it's almost like life gets in the way. How can you show people that it's great to go after like these grandiose things, being an entrepreneur, climbing the corporate ladder, but then going and taking a step back and saying, what are the things that truly matter?
So, like what you said, Michael, at the end, like what does truly matter? And that's what I start with my clients. Like, what does truly matter to you? What is important for you? What is meaningful for you? So I always do like a value-based assessment, which is basically prioritizing what are the 3 most important things in your life, or on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is that for you and where you are now. So for example, they say relationships. I have a relationship with my family. Okay. What is your top priority and where do you want to be? And they're like, it's a 9. On a scale of 10, it's a 9, it's up there. And I'm like, where are you right now? And they're like at a 5. right? And then, for example, work, like how important is work to you? And you're like, it's a 7 because I love my work and I love climbing up the corporate ladder. Great, 7 or 8. Where are you now? They say 9, right? So do you see the imbalance there? Like there's an imbalance because you're spending more time on things that you value less. You're spending less time on things you value more. So when you start seeing that imbalance of where your values is, actually you put numbers to it and you visualize it, it's like, oh, that's right. So then we talk about what choices. It's all choice-based. So no one's going to force you. It's a decision. It's a belief that you want to do it and you want to get there. What choices can you make to get that to a 9 and maybe bring that down to a 7? Without big consequences, like you don't want to lose your job or something. But what can you do to reach that? And when you talk about problem solve, the best solutions to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. I know many people struggle with this because if they are not a 10, it's almost like it's the end of the world. It's like, if I'm a 5 and I have so much to do, like, because maybe they're doing their best to be at a 5 right now. Like they're giving everything. And it's, and I know, one of the, I don't know if this is an excuse or a reality. I mean, it could be a mix of both sometimes. It's like, I don't have time, right? I don't have any of the time. I know this is something with like physical fitness when people are just focusing on the gym aspect of being healthy, of maybe not, eating well. It's like, I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to be healthy. But the reality is all we have is time, right? Because if we don't have the time, then guess what? Like we're out of time, right? So we always have an opportunity, a next moment. But for a good amount of people, time seems to be the problem. How can we reverse that thinking that time is not the problem, it's the solution?
Really good question. And it's like time. When people say I don't have time, first thing I think about is it's like an excuse, right? I mean, you don't have time because part of going and working out seems daunting, and the part of going out, there's a fear to it, self-doubt. There's a lot of things associated with that phrase, I don't have time. When you dig deeper, it's more than just saying that they don't have time. If you really, really want to do something, you always find time, right? If you really, really want to go for a game, you need time to go for a football game, right? I mean, if you really like it, because that's important to us. I mean, anyone would do anything if that they really, really want to. And I feel like when people say they don't have time, it's because there's an underlying fear. Underlying to that. You can always make time. Like you said, there's not enough time. Like time is something that we create. It's in our control. It's in our control. So I feel like it's a choice and there's a fear and then finding the underlying fear, and it's always time. If it really means something to you and if it really matters to you and if you really, really want it, it's a choice you need to make. Create time to do that because you can. There is time. You're just choosing not to do it.
Yeah, very true. How can someone prioritize the things that are most meaningful to them, most meaningful to them? I know we talked about like the value scale in the beginning, right? So I know this is going to be the next step beyond that because now we have the values, right, that we want. We want the family. We want maybe the career, maybe our health, right? Now we give ourselves this aspect of we value these things. We want to place some importance on these things. But then sometimes it's almost like the effort necessary for us to keep on pushing to get from that 5 to the 10 or 9 or whatever we want is almost like, well, it's important today, but it's not going to be important tomorrow. And the reason I say this is because many people, they love to start, but they hate to finish. I feel so invigorated in the January 1st. I'm like, this year, boom, right? I'm skyrocketing. And then it's like somewhere we run out of gas. We forgot to go to the gas station and get our fuel, right? We forgot to pay attention and recharge, where it's just like we have these great and grandiose envisions for ourselves to get the things that we value, the things we prioritize, and the things that we will love to have importance in. But it seems like there's always a roadblock. How can people get over that roadblock?
It's good because, we can't get up every day, like you said, being super motivated, like, I'm going to do this. You're going to have those. And I get that. First, I would say is like, I have dips too. Like, I like to work out 4 or 5 days, and the times I don't go and I like why did I do that after the fact? I feel bad, but the feeling like beating myself about it, like, okay, it didn't happen today, but I'm going to make sure, like, because at the end of the day, after I work out, I feel so good. The benefits, I see the positive. So that kind of motivates me to, if today I could not do it, I was slump, I was miserable, but I know that if I work out and come back, I have a good day, more energy to spend with my family is happier. So that kind of, even though I don't have an underlying motivation, like I need to work out every day, there's this drive, a discipline. We all need discipline. That's why I think that we come in, right? I mean, we are the accountability monitor, like we are there as coaches. And that's why I tell one of the big pieces that I offer my clients is the accountability piece. Like I'm there in your corner. If you fall off, I'm there going to be your cheerleader. I'm going to like, hey, it's okay. Try it again tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. And that kind of helps because I feel like once we get into it, it's all habits, right? Once we get into that habit and it becomes part of our lifestyle, we get up and brush our teeth every day. It's part of our habit, right? We learn to do it. It's not that we're motivated to brush our teeth every day. It's become part of our life. Yet I'm hoping that people who want that life, who want to feel healthy, who want to eat healthy, it'll become a part of their lifestyle. They just need to get over that, to get conditioned to that behavior. And we as coaches can help them see that, the benefits of doing that, and give them that slight nudge, accountability to push them when they are going through slumps, because we're all human. We're going to have our off days and you're going to feel fizzled out after the first couple of weeks of, yes, I got this.
Yeah, very true. I love it's like a metaphor. It's not a metaphor, it's an analogy. I don't know what it is, but it's something. I don't know if I created it or if someone else created it, but they say that working out is a pyramid scheme, like for people who don't work out, because they say you have to have energy to work out, but after you're done working out, you get more energy. So people say it's a pyramid scheme, but you are 100% correct when it comes to the accountability section, where some days you're not going to feel like going to the gym, right? Maybe it's a leg day. You're like, I hate legs. Or maybe it's like a chest and bi day or something. Like, I don't like chest and bi. Like we have preferences. Most people have preferences when they go to the gym. You might like a certain machine. You might like a certain class. And if something goes wrong and you can't make it, you're like, what's the point? Like my life is over. Like my day is over. But the reality is you could try something new. It's almost like, like you have a favorite food maybe, right? So like your favorite food might be Italian food, and you just eat Italian food all day, right? You eat pizza, you eat pasta, and even though it's your favorite food, if you keep eating it, you might say, you know what, I want something different. And it's okay to want something different, right? So you might say, well, instead of Italian food, I'm going to try some hamburger. Maybe you like some American food. You get a hamburger, hot dog, whatever. Even though I don't know if like Frankfurts are considered American, but it's like that stigma of what American food is. But we have these differences that we have to be able to look at. And many people, they say, well, this is the path that I'm on. And typically the path is struggle. They're like, I'm going to struggle my way, right? So like they are literally on the edge of burnout. They're on the edge of burnout because they're not trying to adjust things. Like they're literally trying to do everything, right? They're being Superman, Superwoman, whoever. And they're saying, I'm going to handle the world by myself. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to try to do everything. What is the reality in the sense of people trying to do everything? Is it possible? Is it feasible? Or is it something that we shouldn't be buying for? We should look at where we should have our professionalism, our zone of genius, our expertise, and focus on that.
But exactly what I would say as well. Like, focus on what is important. Like, you can't do it all, for sure. I mean, if you can, awesome. Good. Kudos to you. Hats off to you. But and there is a risk of getting burnt out. I always talk about having SMART goals, like specific measure, like we talk about SMART goals, specific, meaningful, able, and time sensitive or time. So having goals which start with goals that are achievable, right, attainable, and then build your way up. Like it's like building blocks, right? Don't go from I want to do everything. Start there. Start small and see where your threshold is and keep building, because our tolerance and threshold keeps increasing. Just like working out, right? We start small. We're not going to go in person's not ever worked out. It's not going to go in and start pumping. Like, I mean, they're going to start walking maybe. Just get your body moving, right? If you've not worked out in your entire life and you're 50, just move, right? And then start building from there, and then keep adding, and then see where you can, how much you can do. And that's just a small example, but adding some more stuff on your plate, again, step-by-step method. Like, where is your breaking point? Another piece is listen to your body. Like, the body has the most infinite wisdom. If your body, when I say body, mind and body, if your mind and body is telling you to stop. Because they have that mechanism. Your body has a mechanism to take in stress. And it also has a mechanism of fear. It has a mechanism of understanding when things are too much, that you feel it in your body, you can't move. So that's your threshold. So being aware of where you are, start small, build to where you can be, and keep adding, because the more you are in that tolerance space, you can always.
I like the idea of tolerance also. One of the things I think about when we are looking at fitness, right? So someone's trying to get back into better health, body, mind, right? Everything. They feel almost like there's restrictions placed on them. Like, I have to eat this salad. I can't eat my favorite foods. And it's almost like, how can we start to nurture the mindset to like stop focusing on the restrictions or the things that might be limited now that we're starting to get back into a better body state of mind? Because I always say the body that you have today is a proponent of the past 3 to 5 years of you being. So if you were being good to your body and being healthy to your body, your body's good and healthy. But if you have been neglecting your body and mistreating your body, then your body's just not going to be where you want it to be, most likely. So it takes time to heal, right? You know, it's not something that you can just do instantly. And people love quick today. If I want DoorDash, boom, I got my food ready to go quick. I don't even have to leave the comfort of my home. But now we have this obligation now where we have to fix what was wrong. And typically we were the person doing the wrong. How can we remain consistent to all of those hurdles that we're going to be facing during this time?
Hard. I mean, it's unfortunate because in our country, it's like fast food and unhealthy food is easily accessible and cheap. Obviously, that's the first go-to when, like you said, like just order DoorDash, and then you get your food. The way I approach when we talk about food to my clients, I talk about changing your relationship with food. We're not talking about dieting. We're not talking about eating a salad. We're not talking about you starving, calorie. I say count the chemicals, not the calories, which means that when you turn a bag of chips and you can't pronounce anything, like half the things, do not eat it. Because potato and oil, yes, and that's the only ingredients. Yes, that seems like even though it's potato chips, it's unhealthy, but that's a better option than eating a box of chips, which has all these chemicals and NGOs and all that stuff in it. So again, it's a choice. Like, if you've made that conscious decision of wanting to get healthy, I'm not asking you to cut down on anything dramatically. Yes, we'll get there. A couple of things. One, slow down. This is something I had to learn too, because ideally you need to spend at least 20 minutes eating a meal, which means that you eat slow. When I started first just checking on how fast, I eat my meal in it's because I'm more on the next, I'm like, that is ridiculous. So slowing down is hard. When you slow down and eat, you enjoy your meal and you don't eat as much. Honestly, it's the irony of it. It's like you're eating for 20 minutes. It seems like a lot of food. No, you're slowing down. You're talking to someone. You're having a sip of water. And then, and your body get full. Like, you're giving your body the space to work and get full. And your body's like, hey, I'm full right now. Because you slowed down, I was able to process it, and I'm full. I talk a lot about, so in that way, it kind of relieves a little bit of pressure. I don't have to go on these crazy diets and stuff, and they're like, they come to me and say, I want to lose weight fast, and like you said, it's a process. I mean, unless you're taking like those pills out there now, these Olympics and the deepen, and then you lose weight, which is not the side effects of all those. I mean, that's again a choice. You can go that route, but once the side effects, if you're on something, you're on it throughout your life. Again, it's a choice. Do you want to change your lifestyle to be healthy? This is the path we're going to take. This is what we're going to do and change the way you look at food. Very simple. Drink water, sleep well, work out. These basic things. We can incorporate it to things that you truly believe. What do you want? If you eat meat, good. If you're a vegan, okay, let's work with what we have. You're not going to change your diet style or, eat protein, don't eat fat, all these diets. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I work with women over 40, because our body doesn't work the same way when it was 20. The way it metabolizes stuff is not the same thing. We can't use the same diets. We can't do the same workouts that we did in our 20s. It's just not. Maybe some people do, but it's not most. The big piece of the population in this age group are not able to do that. We have to reconfigure our approach and what we need to eat, how we need to work out. And it doesn't have to be, it should be a joyful experience. If it's something like a punishing, like, I have to look at I have to eat 700 calories today, and it's miserable. I know people are miserable on diets, and that's not the point, and it's not sustainable. How long can you be eating 700 calories throughout your life? That's not sustainable either.
So what would be one of your first steps beyond the value, beyond learning about what they would like to attain? Now we're getting into giving them the nutrients they need. Are we looking at more than just the macros and things like that? It's more of the relationship, as you said, the feeling that you get, because you can feel full probably eating a salad, but then again, there's different people who, would benefit from not eating a salad, and they might benefit from eating more proteins like a chicken breast and maybe some vegetables and things like that. Depends on the body too. But this is why I love people who want to change their body to work with a coach, because if you do not, you have to do trial and error, right? There's no way around it. You have to do trial and error if you're by yourself. You're like, okay, well, rice doesn't work for me. Pasta doesn't work for me. So what type of grain can I have, right? So you have to do that. What type of vegetables do you want, right? If you don't like broccoli, don't eat broccoli. Maybe you want cabbage, but then cabbage has, I believe, I don't know if it has more carbs in cabbage or something. Or something. It's something with cabbage. I know it's a lot of water there, but maybe you don't like cabbage either, or something like that. So you say, okay, maybe I'm gonna have some carrots or whatever. So you get to figure out what type of food do you want. And I know there's a lot of meal preps and stuff like that, or like the cook stuff where you order the food and it comes to you. Those can be good alternatives, but for how long, right? Because guess what? After you take that first meal, you're like, well, the other meals are in the fridge, and I'm a little hungry still. So then, before you know it, you're having two of those meals. So oftentimes, a meal that's supposed to, or like a meal kit that's supposed to last you all week, it lasts you 3 to 4 days. So we have a problem with overeating, and typically that's just from a systematic thing that you've been doing for the past however many years. It's like if you eat very fast, as you were saying, right? So you're eating 5 minutes, you're going to overeat because it takes about 15 minutes for the brain to realize and say, hey, I'm full. So we are just in the habit of overeating. How would someone know? And of course, we can go back to the aspect of slowing down and things like that, how much a person should eat, because I know this is a hard question to answer for many people, because they're like, how much should I have? Should I look at BMI? Should I do this? My Fitness Pal app, right? It says I need to have this many calories, and you're over here telling me that I need the 700s. So there's going to be a conflict. And I know sometimes when people are trying to change their body and themselves, they probably have done some research, and they probably have some type of understanding of what direction they need to go. But then when they get an expert opinion, it's almost like, well, that's not what I read. So it goes beyond now. The difference between what is common knowledge on Google and then, from working with clients from experience.
Like, when do I know I'm full? When do I know I'm overeating? So the thing is, again, all the fitness apps and things, they're not basically tailored to you, to your body type, right? Everybody's body type is so unique and different. So I'm going to go back to the circle rhyme to listen to your body thing, and I'll tell you how that works. So one rule of thumb is do not skip any meal of the day. People like, I'm having breakfast, I'm going straight to lunch, and then, and then what happens? You overeat. You're so hungry, your blood sugar level is so low, and you're miserable to begin with. And when blood sugar level is low, you're stressed out. So when you eat, when you're stressed out, digestion doesn't work out. You're not able to digest your food. When you're stressed, your body goes into, like a flight and fight mode, and it just that you digest the food and you feel miserable. So first, don't skip any meal: breakfast, lunch, dinner. Always have dinner. I'm sure you know this, like 2 hours before you go to bed. A spacing of 4 to 5 hours between meals. So that's basic. That's very simple that everyone can do, right? 3 meals, space of 4 to 5 hours, 2 hours before bed, and always about we talk about the hunger scale, like a hunger scale from 1 to 10. How hungry are you? Okay, and we never say never be at a 10. Always be at an 8, which means that don't be full, don't be 100. Always be 80% full. And then again, so hunger versus like fullness scale again, right? You're full at 80% and hunger, like how hungry are you? So if you're at 80% or more, then go for a snack. Don't kill yourself. Oh, that coach said I should only eat 3 meals a day, spaced 4 to 5 hours, but I'm so miserable. Again, listen to your body. If your body says my hunger level is at a 9, please go get yourself a snack. Okay, so but if your fullness level is at 80, stop. Those are the only 2 things. And it's just listening to your body. It's like when you're full, you know. When you're full, all of us know that. When you have a huge meal, we can't even move. That's more than 10. But just feel full enough that, okay, I don't feel hungry. I'm good anymore. I'm good. I feel like I have energy. So that just go by those kind of guidelines to help you. If you need a snack, then eat healthy snacks. There's so many. And that's one thing I work with clients. Like we have a list of, let's be preventative, right? Let's not, because what happens is when we are hungry and we go to the pantry and there's a bag of chips and that's the only option, we want to eat that bag of chips. So let's not go to that. Let's not engage in those behaviors, right? Of getting the chip. What can we do as a preventative? Pack your pantry with all the healthy snacks. Let's assume this is going to happen in the future. And have your whatever seeds or nuts or whatever which are healthier. To have those good fats, those good proteins, the good carbs. Just keep it there, and you feel hungry, go get a snack. It's okay.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I know people when they are giving themselves strict meal regimens, they're like, "I got to eat this time," and they might not even be hungry. And there's pros and cons to that, of course. Like maybe you're trying to increase your metabolism, maybe slow down over the years. So you're just trying to get something for your metabolism to start cooking. Because the last thing you want is for your body just to say, well, we are in starvation mode. So any food that we get, and, as you were saying, it's going to, spike our blood sugars. And now we're going to, go after the quick stores of energy instead of going after the fat. So like there's a whole science behind fitness and working out. And not everyone needs to know how the body works. Like you just literally need to know your journey. Like, so what is A, what is B, all the way to Z, right? Where do you need to go, right? Of course you can be, like a person who wants to know every step of the way. And this, it's nothing wrong with that. But more people, I believe, are looking at the result, right? Like what type of result am I going to get and how long is it going to take me? Because there is a healthy way to lose weight and there's an unhealthy way to lose weight. I know there's many people who will do surgeries. I don't know all the names of them. I guess one of them is like they staple your stomach, or I don't know if it's like a gastric bypass or whatever. So there's some surgeries. Yeah. And people will say that this is my quick fix. But the thing about those quick fixes is that it's not natural to the body and also limits you in a sense. So if you like staple your stomach, it just limits to how much food you can like keep down or like you can stomach, which it seems like it would be like, like this is the sure way for me to lose weight. I have the money, so I might as well just get this surgery. I'm going to get quick results and I don't have to go through the struggle. But there's something that struggle brings. And I just love like going to the gym myself because I see growth, I see progress, right? I become invigorated with me accomplishing things and not so much of things given to me. So for example, there's some guys, I don't know what's wrong with them, but they get like Botox in their muscles. So they have all these,
I've never heard of that.
Google it. Google it. I'm telling you, it's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. So
Okay.
they have fake muscles, like they have fake everything,
Okay.
and they look so weird. But I just love the aspect of growing and making progress. I'm that type of person where if I'm growing and I'm looking in the mirror and every day I'm changing and I'm getting better, and I'm like, I'm stronger than I was the day before. Especially when it comes to women, especially like if you're like, corporate driven, like corporate ladder, family, things like that. You can look at that journey all the way up until 40. And you can say, I remember when I was 20 and I was hungry and I went to college and I got, like all these papers. I was able to get, A's and honor roll. And then when I finally started into the, like the corporate career, and I started off as, just a regular employee, and then I became a manager, and then now I'm the CEO. That journey right there is the same aspect of if you go to the gym and you look in the mirror, and every day you start to look a little bit more in line with, what you envision, right? So you have this, idea for yourself. You're like, you know what, I want to, see my stomach this way, or, I want to see my thighs this way, I want to see my arms this way. And then you start to see that and you become proud that you did it versus if you just did it the quick ways. It's like, like where is the pride in that? And I found that people who do the hard work to get what they want, they're more likely to maintain it and sustain it. Because if they just get something quick, right? And this is why fad diets don't work. You could do keto for 30 days and you can fit into that wedding dress. Yes, but is that sustainable for you? How do you help people find a sustainable way of living?
Michael, yeah, I love the example you gave about it's all about the journey, right? And not the goal, not the destination, because the journey is where all the excitement is. And I give a metaphor, of playing golf. So I give this metaphor to my clients too. Would you like it if I gave you your score? What would you like? Let's just assume this person likes golf. What would you like your score to be? Is it 69 for 18 balls, which I think for them is a good score. It's like, okay, would you like it if I just gave you the score? Like, okay, Michael, here you go. It's your 69. You got that. Or do you want to play the 18 holes? Do you want to go there? You hit it in the sand pit, and then when you get a hole in one, and the ups and downs, like you're going through, and then maybe you don't get to the 69, but you get close enough. Would you prefer that, or do you want the 69 just handed to you right up front? We talk about that. We talk about that in this metaphorical ways, and some people are like, no, I think I want to experience that. And so we kind of start with that kind of thing, because then you enjoy golf. Then now you go with a partner, you play, you socialize, and that gives you joy, and that becomes part of who you are, your identity. You're a golfer now. It becomes part of who you are, and is that what you want? You're a fitness person. Like you that's your identity. Like working out is one of your identities. So if that's what you want, then let's do that. That's the path I can help you with your journey. Other 69, you don't need me for that. Then you're handing it to you, the goal. So that's something we talk about in a metaphorical way, and saying, hey, this is, if you want something sustainable, this is the way to go. And it kind of resonates. I use different kind of analogies or metaphors for people, areas of interest, like you talked about working, right? Like when you work in situation, what all you need to do to get to that end journey, like people who relate to that sector, I talk to them about that in this way. That do you want that result? You want to work your way toward that result, which gives you more joy. So it's basically what you explain, and that's exactly what I do too.
What is the difference between identity and value? Because if we start to look at value, right? Because you might have a value of family, for example, right? You can say my identity is being a mom or, being a wife or something like that. But if we truly look at the identity that we're living or would like to live and the values that we are maybe in line with, the priority values that we're looking at, there is some correlation and then there's some discrepancies there, because people might say this is who I am as my identity, but it's not in line with their true values. How can someone, be sure that their identity is also in line with their values and vice versa?
I love this question. I love this question, because exactly, you hit the nail on the head. Because when there is some identity and values, at the end of the day, need to be aligned, right? So that's where we need to be. If your identity and values are not aligned, it needs to change. So identity leads to values, right? What you are today leads to where you want to go. So if it's not leading you to the path of where you want to go, you have to do some kind of identity shift. You have to, and it's again, people are like, no, this is who I am. I will not change. Okay, get that? If this is who you are and this is what you don't want to change, then you're not going to get to this. So, what do you want? I'm not going to work out. I'm going to do this, but I want to have more energy to spend time with my family. Or you can't get there. So there has to be a shift. Either change your values, either change your identity of getting where you want to. I prefer I never want them to change their values. If a relationship with their child is important, I think that's an important value. What can we do? When I say change identity, I'm not asking you to change who you are as a person. It's like changing what your beliefs are, because beliefs shape your identity. The belief of I was parented is not the way I parent my child, because my parents' beliefs are different from my beliefs, because I learned from what they did, some mistakes and everything. I don't want to raise my child like that. So though it was hard for me to change that belief, I really wanted this for my child. So I had to change my identity a little bit more to reach that value. One of the biggest pieces that I work with my clients when we get to that piece, because that's never something they just blows their mind. They're like, no, I just want to lose weight. What are you talking about? Identity, blah, blah, blah. No. But it's like when we've established a relationship, a rapport, it's something we talk about when we have to feel comfortable. We talk about changing something is hard. Like if you believe in something for so long and you know in the back of your mind it's not working, but changing that is hard. It's uncomfortable. It causes you so much discomfort. And talk about that a little bit more and saying it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to have those, things. Let it come on the journey. We can't push it away. The more you're going to push and not think about it, it's not going away. It's always going to come back. So let's just accept that, embrace that, and see what we can do to move towards your values. It's okay. You always have to go through that discomfort. It's human nature. But don't push it away. Let it come with you. It's okay. Just acknowledge it. Accept it, be willing to move. So we talk about that. That is a very hard thing for people to do when they have an identity with who they are. They feel like that's not who I am anymore. It's not who you are anymore. If that is your value, that's what you want, and you're saying it's not who you are. There's a disconnect there. So something has got to give. Definitely not your values, but that's important to you. What can we do at this identity level to make that happen?
Very true. It's the same thing in all aspects too, like career coaching, right? Like someone might be looking for a career change and they come to you and you're like, okay, well, like what type of career, things like that. We're looking at all of these different things. We're looking at your identity, your values, everything's in line. And I always say, like if someone truly wants to change their circumstance in their life, you begin with fitness, because it's such a powerful catalyst for everything else to come, right? We talked about the pyramid scheme of energy early on, and exactly where we're trying to get this energy to, do these great things in our life. And it's almost like we just have to begin, right? Like, the first day, you might not feel like going to the gym or working out. Like it doesn't even have to be going to the gym. You can literally just start walking around the block. Like you can just become more active, develop the schedule, the time, the meal prep, all of these different things, right? Yes, you can do it by yourself. But how many things have you tried to do by yourself and they have kind of just, been swept under the rug or thrown into the closet? Think of like if you go to IKEA, for example, right? And you buy like all of these cabinets and stuff, like how long do those cabinets stay in the box, right? Like it might stay there for a week, it might stay there a month, and you might be one of those people that stays there for a whole entire year or maybe even a lifetime, where you can start to unpackage the things that you would like to put together. So the good life that you would like to have, the fulfilling life that you would like to have, the life where you are exuberant and you can play with your children, or if you maybe have grandkids, you can run with your grandkids and things along those lines. That is more powerful because now you're giving yourself more meaning, more fulfillment, and then that is going to create more abundance for yourself. And it all began with you just saying, I'm going to focus on my health. I'm going to focus on my fitness. And it's not only about looking in the mirror and saying, I look phenomenal. How do you feel? Like, truly, how do you feel? Do you feel full of energy? Because maybe you didn't go down a dress size or a waist size, but you feel more exuberant. And sometimes, what cannot be seen can also be important. And I know, like, people are going to say, something about it. Like I don't know if you know the rapper Lizzo. Lizzo is on a whole fitness journey now. And if we look at the whole Adele thing, when Adele lost all her weight, everyone was saying, Adele, you shouldn't have lost all that weight because you were beautiful just the way you were, and you look so much better before. And now Lizzo's kind of doing the same thing. So we can kind of see the pattern of what people are going to be saying with Lizzo. But at the end of the day, it comes down to how you feel. Like Adele says, I feel amazing, right? Like, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. And she's more happy, more exuberant. And then kind of everyone just kind of felt in line. Well, she's happy, I'm happy. And then, so it just seems like you might have some naysayers in the beginning. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you struggling? Why are you sacrificing your good life? But at the end of the day, you have to be able to define that for yourself.
That's why I think where we come in, the sabotage habit work in our world. Like, you're trying to eat so healthy, and then you go to this car, it's like, just have this piece of chocolate cake. What? You look great. God. And I'm like, no, don't stop. Don't stop that in my face. No. But yes, and that's one of the reasons I think we as coaches can help. Because, we can help with those pieces. Like the IKEA box, which is a great example, which I think, like, overwhelming, assembling things, but we can help them, like, just today, open the box. Just open the IKEA box today. Tomorrow, just take the pieces out and lay it down, So it doesn't become so overwhelming to begin with, to start with that fitness journey. And then just start, like you said, like the IKEA box is your fitness journey. Like, once that cabinet is built, so happy. It was a process, it was a journey, but you got there and you feel accomplished and you look great and you look amazing. They're going to be naysayers, but always, and that's another thing, we are there as accountability people. Tell them, like, what is your value? What do you want? If someone's okay, if you have that odd piece of chocolate cake, don't again beat yourself up. It's okay. Enjoy it, right? You've already decided you're going to eat that piece of cake. It's not going to be good for you, but it's so good when it goes into your mouth. The sensation is so good. Enjoy it. I've already done it, but it's okay. Get back and if this is your value system, if these people aren't letting you get there, then you need to listen to them. What is the need? Right? There's something bigger. There's a bigger picture here. This is not. You don't listen to that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like everything, there's so many pieces to the puzzle when it comes to us changing ourselves. It can be a mental game. It could be a physical game. It could be a social game, right? Like the people you keep around you, right? Like if you have friends that are saying, hey, let's, eat cake all the time, probably you can say, okay, around my birthday, we can, hang out. But then other than that, like if they want to eat cake all the time, that's the lifestyle that they're choosing to live. So, like ask yourself if you don't have time, right? Because, we talked about the aspect of time. Ask yourself if you can just surround yourself with the people who make the time. Right? They make the time to go to the gym. They make the time to eat healthy. Automatically, you're going to find, like, I have all this time now to do it. It's because you have developed it. And maybe you don't have like all of these healthy friends and lifestyles and things like that. You can always, lean on a coach, right? They can be that, cheerleader. They could be that aspect for you of, one of your 5 people that you keep around you that are in shape or that are on that health track mindset where they're like, okay, I'm going to feel great. I'm going to do the things that are going to give me more energy, more exuberance, and more oomph in my day, because your kids are going to see it. Your family's going to see it. Your friends are going to see it. You're going to see a increase of workflow at work. Everything seems to be in a better position just because you said, I'm going to do something for me. right? It's not so much of giving and trying to please everyone else. It's how can I make my cup overflowing first so everyone else can live in abundance also. So our conversation was definitely a journey from beginning to end, from values to understanding self-sabotage, or from saboteurs, from other people trying to take from us, right? Our lofty dream, or our destiny maybe, of who we can become. And it's so important that we have someone that can be that accountability partner, as you said, that partner for that journey. And I would love for you to tell the audience where they can find you so they can reach out to you, begin working with you, and then just start that process.
Thank you, Michael. I really enjoyed our conversation today. I think we're both on the same page on health and fitness. So it makes it so much easier to have such a candid and a very nice flowing conversation. So thank you for that. I have a free giveaway. So basically, I can share the link with you, Michael, and it just talks about the 8 basic guidelines of getting to your dream weight. It's just an overview of what you should be doing, like drinking more water. Like water always helps people get hungry more. So it talks about a few guidelines of what to do to start to get to where you want to be. And the bottom of that is a QR code. When you click on it, you can schedule a 20-minute discovery call with me, which is free, and I can talk to you. And if you're a good fit, we can work together, or I could point anyone to further resources of where they can access things. So that would be a good first step, and that's the easiest way to reach out to me as well. And I'll share that with you.
All right, perfect. And I'll put that link easy for people to just click, because you didn't give me the name, so it's going to be in the description box below. So just click the link and then begin that process, and so you can check the all the benefits that you can get from just some small changes, more water intake.
Yeah.
And then from there, having the conversation, right? Don't just let this episode say, what, I'm going to do something, like this is my New Year's resolution episode. But you need something else, right? You need to take some action. The discovery call is going to be a great place to begin. So I do want to ask you before we go, what is a takeaway you would like everyone to have for this episode?
Always do what is meaningful for you in life. Always have that as your focus, and all the habits or the behaviors that you engage in, make sure it moves you towards that.
Powerful. And I do want to thank you also for coming on and just, being also easy person to speak with about fitness. I know sometimes when it comes to fitness, everyone has their own persona and personality, and everyone says, well, this is the way that I do it. But I found the most effective coaches are the most flexible coaches. So it's like we figure out what works for the client, not what worked for me or what worked for everyone else. It's about the client. It's about the individual, because we all have a unique journey. We all have a different path, and we all have a different circumstance.